to stay on unmute so that as I'm going through some stuff, if you've got a question, just pipe up. So one of the first things that I want to show you guys about, and some of this you guys might be total pros at, and some of it you might want to take notes. So please let me know if you do want to take notes and if you want me to go slower. But one of the things that I want to show you is if you've got one screen, which most of you are probably looking at right now, like a laptop or a desktop, there's a way that you can get that screen to show multiple windows at the same time. And so if you're an examiner or an assessor, that's really handy because you can see your online report form on one side of the screen, and you might be able to see your exam material on the other side. The other space that might be really helpful is if you're teaching on Zoom, you could have your student on one side of the screen and notes or again material on the other side, but it's also just something that I use. And notes. Sorry, Karen, I'm just going to mute you again. It's also something that I use all the time, and I've shown it to a couple of examiners and teachers in the last 12 months, and they kind of made me realize that maybe that's not something that a lot of people use. So I'm just going to show you guys what I mean. I'm just going to share my entire screen. So you can see my desktop now, which is fab. I am just going to pull up the browser that I was just looking at. So this is the browser, the Eventbrite browser. So can everyone see this? The whole screen? Super. All right, I'm just going to minimize you guys there. Cool. So it is a little bit different on a Mac and an HP. So you'll know if you've got a Mac because it'll have the little apple. Basically, computers are separated into Macs and everything else in the way that their operating systems work. So if you're not sure whether or not you've got a Mac or a HP, if you don't have a Mac, you have the other one. So the difference, the key difference that I'm going to talk about here is a Mac, this little, so if everyone look to the top right of my screen, you'll see a little horizontal line, two little boxes, and an X. Okay. So on everything except a Mac, that's what it'll look like. On a Mac, it's going to be over on the top left-hand side, and they're going to be three colored dots. From memory, I believe it's a green, a red, and a yellow. Okay.
I can't find those, and I've got a Mac.
Okay, so so that's only if you're looking at a browser or something. So if you were looking at the screen that I'm looking at, and you were looking at the internet, yeah. So at the moment you're on Zoom, so you're looking at my screen. Maybe I'll do another one of these with a Mac. But if you were looking at your browser. Pardon?
Three coloured dots on left, yeah.
Yeah, perfect. So you found them. Cool.
And, well, no, I'm just saying that's what you're telling me.
Oh, yes. So the three coloured dots on the left. So what I'm going to show you on this style of computer is how to shrink something. So there's two things that I want you to have a look at. This little horizontal line is to minimize. And what minimize means is it pulls it down, completely hides it from view, and pops it down here at the bottom. See how I've got this toolbar at the bottom of my things that I use all the time. So if you minimize, you're not closing the window, you're just kind of putting it to sleep for a little while, and it pops up down the bottom here. But what I want to show you guys now is this one here, which is on an HP, is called Restore Down. So when I click that, it shrinks my window to a certain size. Now, this is going to look different on everyone's computer because everyone's got slightly different settings. But what I want to show you is the fact that you can change the way that this looks. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hover my cursor, my mouse, over this bottom right corner. See how those little double pointy arrows show up? So if I click and hold and drag, I can make that window whatever size I want. So I'm going to make it half of my screen. And then let's say I want, see how it's kind of shunted over to the left there. Let's say I want to move that so it's really nicely situated on the side of my screen. I'm going to hover my mouse over the gray area at the top. So not on one of the tabs. I have lots of tabs. I'm going to hover it over the gray area. I'm going to click and hold, and I'm going to drag it into space. Does that make sense to everyone so far?
No, sorry.
No, that's okay.
Can you just do it again? Can you just do it again?
Yes, I'll do it again. Yep. So what, and this works on any, let me show you on a Word document as well. Okay. 1 second, my Word document is just going to open up. Okay. So those same icons, again, Mac versus everything else. On a Mac, it'll be on the left-hand side and they'll be color-coded. On everything else, it'll be on the right-hand side and they are icon-coded. So same thing here. You're looking for those 2 squares on HP or else, and you're going to press that and it's going to shrink it down. Okay. So let's say I wanted to have 2 things on my page, one of them being a Word document and one of them being the internet. What I can do is I've created this Word document. You can see here, if I click on this blue space at the top, click and hold, I can drag that around the screen. So I'm going to pop that over to the right-hand side.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm going to hover over this left-hand side. So you don't have to do the corner. You can do the side. See how there's that double pointy arrow? I'm going to click and hold, and I'm going to drag that to wherever I like. And then I'm going to click and hold, find that double pointy arrow again at the bottom this time. Click and hold and drag. So now I've got half of my screen is a nice Word document. So I want to deal with this one behind it now. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to minimize this, and I'm going to come back to it in a second. So minimizing it pops it down into the bottom down here. So now I want to make sure that this website that I'm on, maybe I want to copy some data over, or maybe I want to, I don't know, whatever you might want to do on whatever other screen you're using. Same thing, click those 2 squares. And what it does is it remembers the place that you had it in last. So if you do this all the time, and you often have something sitting on one side of your screen, it will remember that, but that doesn't mean that you can't move it. It's just going to make it, it's trying to make it easy for you by remembering where you put it last. And so now I want to find that Word document that I minimized before. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come down to the bottom, and I'm going to find my Word icon. I'm going to hover over it, and it's going to show me the different Word documents that I have open at the moment, but they're minimized. So I can see that this one here on the right-hand side is the one that I had before. I'm going to click it, and it's going to remember where I put it. So now I am looking at 2 things on the same screen, and it's all looking okay. Right. Questions? How does that feel?
Yep.
Make sense? So I really apologize for the Mac people. I might have to do a separate Mac one, but essentially the process works the same. It's just you have to look at those different colored icons. I know for a fact that red closes the window, so we don't want to do red right now. I believe that the green one might be minimized and the yellow one might be to restore it down, but it might be the other way around.
Soon find out.
Yes, just have a little play, but I can do another one of these. Cool. Okay, so that's really helpful if I've got one screen and you're trying to do lots of things at the same time. The next thing that I want to show you guys how to do is make bookmarks in your browser, because I've shown a few people how to do this and it saves you guys so much time once you know how to do it. So I'm going to minimize you again. All right. Now, so I'm going to make my web browser big so I can show you what I mean. Okay, I just need to move this out of the way. Right. Okay, so a bookmark, can you see up the top of my, so see at the top here, this line that I've highlighted just here, that's what we call a browser bar or a URL. Yeah. So it's the unique, what does URL stand for? It's probably unique reference something. But that's the place that you put a unique reference thing. So if we typed in speech NZ, it's going to take us to the website. So what I want to show you how to do is create all of these fun little icons here, which allow you to get to a space without always having to have this unique reference up here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how to do that. So once you've found a page that you like, let's say you want to bookmark the speech NZ site. Actually, let's say you want to bookmark the, let's say you want to bookmark the entry form. So I'm going to bring you here. So this is our online exam entry form. Let's say you want to bookmark this page. So on your browser, and your browser, when I say browser, I mean your internet source. So that could be Google Chrome. It could be Firefox. It could be Safari. It could be, what other ones are there? You know what I mean? Those things. So on a Mac, your computer will be built in with Safari. But you can always download multiple browsers. So really, it's just a portal to get to the internet. And personally, I always like to have a couple. I have lots of things open at the same time. So if you've got really good eyesight, you'll see at the bottom down here, I have Google Chrome and I also have Firefox. And I use them both for different things. I'll have different browser tabs saved. So if you want to get really fancy, you can definitely do that as well. But so essentially, you find your way to the page that you want to bookmark. And then you're going to hover over your bookmarks toolbar at the top here. And I've got heaps and heaps of them. But you're going to right click. And you're going to go add page. So again, everyone's browsers will be slightly different. I'll show you on a Firefox as well. But add page, you're going to add the name of your bookmark. So let's say we want to call it Speech NZ. The URL you can see here, it's remembered what we've put here. And then bookmarks bar means it's going to show up in this lovely thing up here. So I'm going to go save. Now, I've got so many of them that it's appearing down here, but that's it there. That's the one that we just added. So if your page that you're going to has one of these lovely little things here, which is called a favicon, don't have to worry about what it's called. But if you have one of those, you actually don't need to put a name on it. So if I find the one that we just made, I'm just going to edit that. You actually don't need to put a name on it. You can have a blank name and go save. And it's going to show up with just the icon, which is how I've got these ones up here. So I know what those ones there mean. So can you see where my cursor is? I know what Instagram looks like. I know what the Speech NZ page looks like. So that's what those are. Okay. General questions. Has anyone done bookmarks before?
Yeah.
Okay, you have? Awesome. So another really quick way to do that, I'm just going to show you in Firefox now, actually. Can you still see my screen?
Mm-hmm.
Cool. All right. So another really quick way to do that is, let's go, what's another page that we would go to all the time? Well, maybe let's do the Speech NZ one now. On a everything except Mac, there is a quick key way to get a bookmark. So if you don't want to do this, right click, add bookmark. Oh, so you can see how now that we're in Firefox, it's a slightly different menu. So I right clicked and now it's really clear. It says add bookmark. Whereas on Google Chrome, it said add page. So it's a little bit different across the different browsers. And I'm sure Safari is different as well, but you're looking for something similar to that. But so what you can do is you can also press Control and D on your keyboard. And that brings up, hold on, someone is repeating back to me again.
You're echoing.
Who is that?
Hello. Are you going to go out and find some food? Are you going to look for a restaurant? Or?
I think it's Joe. Sorry, Joe. Okay. So that brings up a quick way to get to your bookmark. So that's a different option. All right. Let me take some more questions. How's everyone feeling? Does that make sense?
Lost.
A little bit lost?
Can you just go through it just step by step, Emma, again?
Yeah. Yeah. Let me take a little bit of a perspective. Who uses Firefox? I can do it in Firefox, or do people use Chrome?
I use Chrome.
Chrome? Okay, cool. So we'll go back to Chrome. Cool.
Just remember, your icons are very, very small on the screen we're seeing, and it's really hard sometimes to see just where your cursor is. Yeah, no, you're right. They are really tiny. I can actually try to make my screen a little bit bigger, but yeah, no, if I make my screen bigger, it doesn't make the icons bigger, unfortunately. Okay,
toolbars and everything. I don't know how to do anything. She's telling us all.
Okay, right. So let's do that again. So I'm in Chrome and I want to save, yeah, I want to save the, let's say I want to, sorry, who is that? I'm just
A lot of feedback.
Okay. Joe, I'm just going to mute you. I think it's coming out of your speaker and being funny. Is that all right? Thank you. Okay. Righty-ho. So, go away. Right. Yeah, let's say we want to bookmark the examination schedules page on the Speech NZ website. So we're going to come up to our bookmarks toolbar. I've got a gazillion of them. Right-click on a space, and you're looking for add page ... on Chrome. That's what it says on Chrome. On Firefox, it says add bookmark, and on Safari, it'll say something else. Add page. Then you can give it whatever name you want. So let's say you call, you know, you don't want to call it Examination Schedule Speech in New Zealand. Maybe you want to say SNZ SCED or just SNZ. Now, it's got the URL there. You don't have to worry about this bit at all because it's going to remember the page that we were on when you selected that you wanted to create a bookmark. And then from there, down here, you can see it's already pre-selected the fact that I've got a bookmarks bar and I want to show it here. Everyone cast your eyes over to the far right-hand side of my screen and see how it says other bookmarks? That's where you can have your bookmarks compartmentalized. You can have the ones that show up on your screen, and then you can have the space for other bookmarks. I personally don't use that at all because if I'm going to bookmark something, I'm probably going to want to access it quickly. And as you can see, I've got heaps and heaps of them in the space that I need, so I don't really need any more. But so I would make sure that your bookmarks bar is selected, and then you just go save, and then it'll show up, and so you can see it right there now. And so when you click on that, so let's say now I'm going to open a new window in Google Chrome. Oh, see, look, it's shrunk itself down. How lovely. So again, you can maximize and make the full screen by clicking that square. So actually, does that make sense? Up the top right corner, I know it's tiny, but see how at the top right corner, it's 2 squares, which means restore down. And then to make it big, it's just 1 square. So hopefully that helps to help that make sense, what those 2 different actions mean. But so let's say we want to use the bookmark. You've come to the browser, you want to go to that bookmark, you don't want to type anything up here, you click it, and here we are.
Great.
All right, how are we feeling?
Good.
Feeling groovy? Super. What else do you want to know? First session, have a little think about stuff that might be really useful for you. I can go over some basics like, copying and pasting, but those were the 2 really big things that stood out to me last year that I wanted to make sure that you all had a better of an understanding of how to use those 2 things, which is the restoring down and the bookmarks. What else would you like? Yeah, Christine, go for it. I'm just gonna have to ask you to unmute.
How about clipboard? I'm never quite sure what it means when it says, do you want this on clipboard?
Right. So clipboard is your computer's way of saying you've copied something from a page or a Word document. So you've gone and copied something from somewhere, and now you've closed that thing. Yes. But your computer is kind of storing it in limbo, waiting for you to paste it somewhere.
Oh. Right.
So yeah, so that's in essence what it means. So when you copy something, which you can go right click and then copy, or you can go Control-C. I can show you guys those quick keys in a second. But yeah, it basically hovers in limbo in your computer. And then if you close the document that you originally copied it from, and you haven't pasted whatever you copied yet, your computer goes, hold on, do you want me to close this or not? And so it's just it's an inbuilt question mark in your computer system to just check that you did actually mean to close whatever you just closed.
Yes,
Yeah.
right.
I've got a question.
If something goes onto clipboard, can you get it back again quickly?
If something goes onto clipboard, can you get it quickly?
Can you get it back again?
Yes, you should be able to. Yes. So if you, oh, sorry, John, I'm just going to move you for a second. So yeah, tell me what's the scenario that you're seeing that clipboard pop up, Christine?
I can't quite remember.
I know.
Yes, it just
says. Is it always to do with Word?
Do you want this to be available on clipboard?
Yeah. Is it always to do with Word?
It's always to do with Word.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So it's definitely something that pops up a lot with Word. If you say yes, then what I believe would happen is when you open up Word the next time, it will say you've got some unsaved documents.
Oh, okay.
So it should stop if you're always saving your documents while you're using them. And whenever you copy something, as long as you paste it somewhere, it should stop.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh,
but we can have a little play with some stuff on Word as well. I can show you guys some cool stuff with Word. But Joe, I think you had a question. Go for it.
Come in a little bit late, so apologies if you've covered this, but how do you know what's a URL and what isn't? Because obviously you've got to save a URL. How do you know that that's what you've got?
Cool. All right. I'm going to mute you again. Sorry, because I'm repeating back. I don't know why that's doing that. Okay, so this up here in this space right underneath the grey area where it's got speechnz.co.nz, what we do, all of that jazz. This is a URL. So you can see how if I'm not clicking on it, you can't see the dub. But if I click on it, you see https://www. So the full URL is the whole shebang. So when you're going to make a bookmark, as long as you navigate your way to the page that you want the bookmark of. So let's say, what else would be really useful for you guys to have as a bookmark? Even your Gmail account, you can have, or you can see here, I've got the Speech NZ Facebook. So I've got that bookmark. So as long as you navigate your way to whatever it is that you want your bookmark to be, and then once you see that there and you're on that page, then you go ahead and make your bookmark, and you don't even have to worry about changing this URL because it will take it from whatever page you're on. Does that kind of answer your question, Joe?
Yes, so it's got to be in that grey area, and then you know you're right.
Yeah. So
okay,
make sure
thank
you're
you.
on the page. Yeah.
Sure. Thank you.
Cool. All right. So did people want me to do some stuff with Word? A little bit of stuff with Word. All right, cool. So let me just.
I wanted to know how you can get a poem from Google and put it on the screen and show the pupils.
Okay, so we've got two different things happening there. We've got Google Docs and we've got screen sharing, right? When you say show the pupils, do you mean in a lesson like this, or do you mean share it with them? As
no, in a lesson,
looking at it on their own.
And you find a poem and you pop it on your screen and they read it to you.
Yeah, so screen sharing is what I'm doing right now. So you can screen share in lots of the different programs that there are. So I'm using Zoom right now. Zoom is free as long as you want to have meetings that are less than 40 minutes, which isn't super helpful if you're wanting to have an hour-long lesson. So for us at Speech New Zealand, we pay for a license that allows us to have longer sessions. There are other options than Zoom. So Google Meet is another one. If you have a Google account, Google Meet is another really good option. So that also allows you to screen share. One of the major bummers about these sessions is that I can't show you how to screen share because I'm already screen sharing. So I believe I have a video up on our YouTube. Actually, let's just take a moment and go to our YouTube channel. Again, I have a bookmark for it because I can't be bothered having all of these things saved anywhere. All right, so let me go to our videos. Right. Here, see all these yellow tiles? These are training videos that I've created to help you guys with some stuff. So the yellow ones are all to do with Zoom. So scheduling a meeting, sending the meeting invitations, creating a Zoom account. I obviously haven't done one about screen sharing, but I can tell you where there are instructions. There are also heaps of videos here about Google Drive. So after this technology session, when you're feeling really pumped up and ready to go, you can always come to our YouTube channel, and I can send that out to you guys as well, and just have a little look at the different training sessions that I've already pre-recorded for you. But let me show you on the website. I believe. Where have I put them? That's the question, is where have I put them? Because this is a brand new website and I can't remember where a whole lot of things are.
Website looks good, by the way. Well done.
Thank you. Thank you. Very excited. They really should be in here, but
It's like tidying your drawers. You can never find where you put things.
You can never find them. Is it under general? Is that where I've put it? Where have I put it? Okay, I'll find them. God, that's embarrassing. That's terrible.
Miscellaneous?
Yeah, what's that? I do remember that the resource section is definitely a bit of a nightmare. Parent FAQs.
It needs a lot of work.
It does need a lot of work. It's a big job. Yeah, no, that's not it. Wow. I have instructions for teaching. I have instructions that I made. Okay. Well, that's frustrating. I'll find them for you and put them up on the website. So yes.
So how do we get into those YouTubes? Is that just a private?
No, so this is our Speech NZ channel. So if you wanted to become a subscriber of Speech NZ, you would get a notification every time we uploaded a new video, which is always a great idea. So
are we not subscribers of Speech NZ?
Pardon?
Are we, as teachers, are we not subscribers of Speech NZ?
So this is specifically subscribers of our Speech NZ YouTube channel. So there are so many.
Or YouTube.
Pardon?
YouTube or YouTube?
YouTube.
Sorry.
But I like what you did there. So unfortunately, this is a situation where I can't add you as a subscriber. YouTube is quite stoic in their kind of subscription rules, and you have to basically come to our Speech NZ page and opt to become a subscriber.
So that's something that's new to me. Does anyone else know about that, or is it something that I've missed somewhere along the line?
You probably haven't missed it. It's not something that I think many people talked about before last year. A lot of the videos that you see on that page are all ones that I did last year. And what you would normally see is I would record the video and then I would post the link out to everyone, or I'd put it in the Speech NZ teachers page, or it would be a recording of the teacher workshop that we'd just done. So you all tended to see the links, but you possibly weren't aware that you could become a YouTube subscriber, which is again just something that I probably just didn't think to mention. So really good to have that. I'm going to write that down, put that somewhere.
Do you know how much that is, Emma?
It's free to subscribe to our YouTube channel.
How do we do that though? How do we become a YouTube subscriber?
Right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do that as my personal self, not my Speech NZ self, on a Firefox page. So, right. So on my Firefox, I'm logged into my personal Gmail, which allows me, the reason I do that is it allows me to see things as not a Speech NZ person. So what I've done is I've come to our Speech NZ channel. You can tell it's our Speech NZ channel because it says this. And see over on the right here, big red button that says subscribe. So I'm going to subscribe. Do you want to subscribe to this channel? It's going to make you sign in to YouTube. That's free. Oh no, it's going to make me do it with Google. So the last time I was playing around with Google Meet, I logged in as Jess. So if it comes up with that and you don't like it, you just go next. And you can always change it here.
I'll do that.
Cool. YouTube subscription link.
So you'll have to help me get on there.
Yeah, I can. I'll send up some follow-up resources after this, as well as the video that we've talked about. Resources. Cool. Okay, so that's essentially it. That's how you subscribe. And this would also be a really useful bookmark.
Yeah.
All right. Great bookmark, our YouTube channel. And that's what I have on my other page right there, little bookmark. Celia, I think it was. What was your actual question was? We've gone off topic.
How you can find a poem and
share
it with a pupil on the screen.
Okay. So
is this while you're on Zoom, Celia, you mean?
Yes, during a lesson.
Right.
So great case for you to have that split screen scenario, right? So what I'm going to do is I am going to be quite tricksy and we're going to start a Google Meet. Don't panic. This is just a way for me to show you what a meeting screen will look like. All right, so it's going to freak out because I've now got two meetings happening at the same time. Muting myself. Okay, right. So let's imagine that this screen right here. Can you see? Is my camera going to turn on? No, it doesn't want me to turn it on because I'm already in a meeting with Zoom. So Google Meet is another similar space to Zoom. But let's imagine that this little Speech NZ icon is your student's face and you want to have that on one side of the screen and your thing that you're sharing on the other side of the screen. You can restore that down and have it sitting over here. And I'm going to show you something else really cool, which is dragging and dropping your browser tabs out into a new window. So let me kind of roll that back a bit. So on this screen here that you can see, that is my Google Meet. I've got 4 tabs at the top. And this whole thing is a window, right? So you can have multiple tabs in one window, and you can have multiple windows open at the same time. So I'm going to show you how that works. I'm going to click on this miscellaneous tab, click and hold, drag it over here. Okay. So now we've kept our meeting on the left-hand side. There's our lovely student's face. And now over here, I can do whatever I want with this browser. So what I want to do is go to DOCS. Right. Cool. So let's pretend that this is a poem that I want to share with my student. They can't see this just yet until you share your screen. Okay. In Google Meet, and I'm going to show you this in Google Meet because it's pretty similar in Zoom. In Google Meet, there's a box at the bottom with an upwards pointing arrow, and that calls it present now. In Zoom, it's a little bit easier. Still a box, it's still an upwards pointing arrow, but it's bright green. So when you click that button, in Google Meet, it asks you what you want to share. Do you want to share your entire screen? Do you want to share a window or a tab? Right? So this is where you need to know the difference between a window and a tab. This here on the left-hand side is a window. This here on the right-hand side is a window. Up here at the top on the left-hand side, tab, tab, tab. Cool. So that's really useful for you to know, because it means that, let's say you're having a lesson and you've got a bunch of different things open. Maybe you've got your bank account open. Maybe you've got your emails open. You don't have to share all of that. You can choose what you're sharing. So you can choose just to share this page. So I'm going to show you on Google Meet. I want to share a window, and it'll come up with the different options, right? So what I want to share is this one up here, the Rebecca Marketing Delivery Schedule. I'm going to click on that, and I'm going to go share. If I wanted to share a tab, I'll select tab, and it'll show me all the different tab options that I might want to share. Sound good?
Mm-hmm.
Cool. So that is what happens with Google Meet. You guys, you probably can't see my screen right now, but I just clicked the share on a Zoom. Can you see that?
Mm-hmm.
Can you see the select a window page that's just popped up? I don't think you can. So on Zoom, when you click share, that big green button at the bottom, which you can't see right now because I'm already sharing.
Oh, yep, there it is.
Yep.
Sorry.
You can see it. Perfect. It will come up with a white box with heaps of different options. And what you just need to make sure that you do is you click on one of those boxes and then click share, which will, the second share will be a blue box, bottom right corner. So the thing that often trips people up is they'll click the big green button that says share, and they'll be like, cool, I'm sharing my screen. But that big green button share is only the first step in a 3-step process. You click the big green button, it pulls up a white window or box with a bunch of different options. You have to select one of those options that you want to be sharing and then click share again. Okay, I know that that's a lot of info. What are we thinking?
It's actually quite simple. I think I've done it, and it's relatively simple when you do it, Celia.
Yeah.
It's always great to just have a practice. And what I recommend is you get someone on another computer in the house and just practice it with them.
I've found if you want to share something, you need to have it open on your screen before you start the meeting. You know, if you know you want to share a particular poem, have it actually open on your screen.
You certainly need it open on your computer. So you won't be able to share a document or a browser or anything that isn't open. It doesn't necessarily have to be open on your actual screen. So right now you can see there's actually nothing on my screen, but they're all saved down here. See how I've got these little, they're all these little minimized jobbies. Yeah. So they are still open, they're just minimized. So as long as you've got whatever it is that you want to share open, it's not hiding in your folders, Zoom or Google Meet will be able to find it when you select share. Because when you're sharing, it won't be able to open something for you. But as Pam says, general good practice might be to just actually have it up on your screen. Then you know it's definitely open until you get used to the whole minimize situation.
How do you put it on the screen in the first place?
So that would be you opening it up. So let's say I want to open up, let's find something in my documents. Right. So what's something fun that you can all look at? So this is us finding something in your documents. Let's open up the exam fees. Okay. So I'm going to open that up. You can see it's showing up on my screen. And now this is where if you decided to go share, you'd select that as a window and boom, they would be able to see just that window. So let me show you what I mean. Right now, you're seeing my whole screen. I'm going to get you to just see that window now. Make sense?
And you minimize it.
And then you can minimize it. And now you can't see anything. Now I'm going to make you see my whole screen again.
So maybe does Celia mean, how do you get it onto your computer? Do you know how to get it onto your computer, Celia?
So Daisy, if you've got a poem, you know, The Listeners, you can Google The Listeners by Walter Delamere. How can I get that on the screen to show the pupils?
All right, so we'll literally do that. So you're going to go to your browser. Beautiful. Share.
Where?
Done.
Where did you do that?
So can you all see that page now? So what I did was I went share, the big green button. I selected from the multiple options that showed up, I selected the window that said the words The Listeners by Walter Delamere, and then I clicked the big blue share button, and that's what you can all see right now.
So where is that button again?
So
on
Zoom,
HP?
if you're using Zoom, it's right at the bottom of your screen. You should be able to see it if you're looking at your Zoom window now.
Oh, yes,
if I
yes.
stop sharing, actually,
yeah.
give me 1 second.
Yeah, share screen. Yes.
Yeah, actually,
Yeah.
do you know, let's have a practice. Who wants to have a practice and share something with me? Well, with everyone. If you want to have a go and have a little practice, and I can help you, please go ahead and click that share screen button, Colleen.
Okay.
And then tell me what it says.
Ditch the 40-minute limit.
Sweet. So see at the top, you've got 3 different tabs. You've got your Gmail, you've got your Eventbrite, and you've got the Zoom. Cool. So find us a poem to look at. So click that plus. Yep. It's going to open a new tab. You can type in whatever you want. And just be aware we're all seeing what you're looking at on this page. So you've shared your window. You haven't shared a tab. Does that make sense?
Right.
Yeah.
Is it going to come up? There it is.
So we can all see your Shakespeare Sonnets number 23.
Excellent.
Yeah. Really cool. Does anyone else want to have a practice? So now, Colleen, when you're finished, when you're ready, you want to look on your screen for a small red box that says stop share.
Yes.
Yeah. Perfect.
Have a go.
Yeah, go for it, Denny.
Okay.
So when you click the share button, you'll have a bunch of different options. So just have a little think about which option you want to go with. Cool. Nice.
Do you see
So
it?
we are seeing Your Weight of Water by Sarah Crossner, and we're not seeing anything else at this point.
No. Okay.
So Denny, you can see at the top right corner, you've got those 3 different icons, right? So let's just click that restore down. Cool. So what Denny has done here, guys, see how we can't see on either side of this? That's because Denny has only shared this document with us. So Denny could have all sorts of stuff happening in the background. She could have personal photos of her kids or whatever, but we can't see any of that because she's just selected to share this screen with us, not her whole window or her whole screen. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah. Nice, Denny.
Okay. How do I get rid of it?
All right, and then you want to look for that small red box, really small box that says stop share.
At the bottom?
It might be at the bottom or it might be in the top. It's different. Yeah, there we go. Nice. Cool. A lot of stuff. How are people feeling?
Yeah, good.
Good?
Yep.
Had a couple of people be real quiet. What are some other things that
I had the privilege of having a private session with you too.
What's that, Denny?
I said, of course, I've had the privilege of having a private session with you.
Well, you're
too.
always welcome. You're always welcome to have a private session if that's helpful. Yeah.
So Emma, have you taught how to set up visuals for PowerPoint before? Is there a training video for that?
I have not done a training video on specifically setting up visuals for PowerPoint, but I believe it would be really similar. The setup would be similar. You'd open your PowerPoint presentation, because I've done this, I think I've done this before for a couple of the teacher workshops. You'll open your Zoom meeting or be chatting on Zoom, and then you'll be ready to open your PowerPoint presentation. So you'll make sure that PowerPoint's open in the background. And then when you go screen share, you'll select the PowerPoint to share.
Mhm.
But I can do a training video on that if that would be helpful.
Hmm. The thing
So
is,
you
we
want, so
don't
you,
know
yes,
what.
you want sharing PowerPoints.
Probably for some of us, it might be even creating PowerPoint. That's not something I've done personally, but simply because I haven't had a need to do it.
Yeah.
Some of the pupils give their talks on PowerPoint now.
Mm.
They all know it. They do it at school.
Yeah, a lot of I mean, I remember doing PowerPoint when I was at school. So yeah, a lot of
I
schools
do it when I was at school. I'm sorry.
But we didn't
they're
have
very good at
computers.
No, but what I mean to say is I'm sure the kids are like wildly advanced with PowerPoint.
Well,
But the
they've
main,
taught me.
yeah. But the main thing is that the screen share component will work exactly the same.
Yeah,
So as long as
yeah,
you've been
I've
sent the
done
PowerPoint, if you're the one manning the PowerPoint, as long as you've been sent the file, then the screen share scenario will work just the same.
The problem is we don't know what we don't know until we
totally.
need to know it.
Good
Yeah,
thinking.
and that's part of the reason why I sort of thought that this might be a useful thing to do in a group,
Yes,
because
yes.
when I do have these one-on-ones with Dinny and others, I've had a couple of one-on-ones with Meredith, and she's quite hilarious, because she'll say exactly that. She'll be like, well, I had no idea. So yeah, I sort of thought, well, you might be bored out of your brains learning some of this stuff, but you might not be.
No, not at all.
Do you
Not
find
bored.
in this Speech New Zealand exams, the students are giving talks on PowerPoint, or they're still using the big chart? What do you
It's really a mixture. I mean, if it's a Zoom exam, a lot of them are using PowerPoint. Some of them are still using charts, especially the ones that were in person and then had to move to Zoom. But a lot of them feel really comfy with a PowerPoint on a Zoom exam. I probably wouldn't say that we get many PowerPoints for in-person exams, because that requires a lot, they can't necessarily show the examiner their laptop screen. So that requires a projector and that sort of stuff, which isn't as common. I know it's happened before, but certainly for Zoom exams, totally fine to have PowerPoints. The examiners are totally cool with the students sharing their screens. The students feel quite comfortable speaking to the on-screen PowerPoint. So yeah, it's really whichever the student prefers at that point.
From the point of view of teaching that, can you share your screen and still, or I suppose you could just do a split screen and still be seen yourself as the presenter? Because that's what I'm thinking. If somebody is sharing, you don't want to just hear their voice and see the screen. You want to actually see them. If you're examining, for instance, you want both.
If I share my screen here, you guys, can you see all of yourselves on my screen?
No, I can only see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 people at the moment.
All right, so that's another dumb thing about Zoom. Okay, so
12. I can see 12.
Oh, well, so it's all of you can adjust that. So the screen that you're looking at, you should have a couple of different options, either top left or top right corner, where there's like a line and then a slightly fatter line and then 2 lines and then 9 dots. So play around with those, and that gives you different view options for when you've got a whole bunch of people on Zoom. Yeah?
Yeah.
Yep. Okay, so I'm going to stop sharing my screen for a second. Right. Another thing, if you've got your Zoom application open, up in the top right-hand corner on my screen, sadly, again, I can't show you because it won't let me, but is there the word view with a 9 dotted cube?
Yes.
Everyone click on that and see how there's an option for speaker, gallery, and full screen.
Yes.
So in that scenario that you just mentioned, where they've got their PowerPoint and they also want to see themselves, you want to select speaker. So if you all select speaker right now, you should see a really massive me.
Yep.
because I'm the one speaking right now. And so you might see little icons for the rest of you, but I'm the big one because I'm speaking. So it's kind of like a nice presentation view. And that might be really useful if you are doing those kinds of lessons. And then to change it back again, if you want to go back to that collaborative view, you want to click that view icon again and go back to gallery.
Yep.
Yeah.
But can you present something to us and we see your face plus the PowerPoint?
So if I'm presenting to you, then, right, yes, you should be able to do that. So I'm going to change my view to speaker. I'm going to share my screen and we're going to go back to this listeners one. Can you see me?
Yes.
Only as a little icon.
Yeah. So that's the problem. If I wanted to minimize the screen that I'm sharing with you and make my Zoom screen bigger, that's the other option. So can you see a bigger me now?
I can't see
No.
now.
Oh, hold on. I think I have to share my whole screen with you. Okay, can you see the listeners on one side and then can you see the Zoom thing on the other side?
Yeah, with the rock or whatever it is, the seascape.
Yeah. So can you see a bigger me?
No.
No.
You're
What is
still,
it?
You're still little.
yeah,
You're just one of the speakers or one of the viewers.
because you're not
But
on
if you
speaker.
press side by side speaker, you come as a solo speaker, but you're still about a sixth of the size of the picture.
Now, I wonder if that's something that you can change on your end. I'm just thinking. Can someone share their screen with me so I can have a play? Someone share their screen and I'll see what happens.
Who's doing it?
Colin, you are.
Yeah.
Or-
Okay. Yes.
Yeah, so I have a big Colleen and I'm going to show you what I did. Everyone, can you see a small Colleen?
Yes.
Oh, I have to push that.
Hover over the bottom left or right hand corner, find that double pointy arrow and drag it.
Oh.
And she
I
should
know.
get bigger.
I've lost Colleen. Oh, there she is. I'm hovering.
Yep, click and
what do I
drag.
do?
So hover over one of the corners till you get the double pointy arrow and then
Yeah.
click and drag.
Doesn't work on the Mac.
I need to do a whole nother one of these on a Mac because they're so different.
Where's the double pointy arrow?
Sorry.
So you
No, I
need to
can't
hover to find the double pointy arrow. You need to hover over right at the corner of the Colleen, or it's probably me now because I'm talking.
I'll hover over Colleen.
It doesn't work.
Just over the corner.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it doesn't
Oh,
work.
yes, I get it.
Yep.
All right.
I can
Right.
move Colleen's picture around, but I
Yes.
can't make her any bigger or any different.
Hmm.
And I'm wondering if
I
that's
can see
because
three little.
it's not on speaker.
Yes. So you can
I go to-
definitely. Yep. You need to
I've got
change
you
it back
now.
to speaker.
Well, I've got you in full screen now and I can't see anybody else. So that's the way to do it, obviously, on a Mac,
Yeah.
is to put, I've had exam candidates use videos and present, and I can see myself as well. So I have worked that, but I can't remember.
I think that's with Google Meet, Gay. Was that with Google Meet with
It
Subtle?
was Zoom exams.
Was it
Only
Zoom?
Yeah. And, but I think it's when we haven't got, it's not a group meeting.
Yeah.
It's
Do you
just
know, I think that you might be right. I
one-to-one.
think that's
Yes.
exactly it. It's because
one-to-one.
it gets confused because there are multiple different speakers, where if it's just you and me, if I'm
Yes.
not speaking and you are, it doesn't
That's
get
right.
confused.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. See, I've got you full screen now.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Because it's just you and I having a little chat.
absolutely.
And we're all watching.
Yes.
Cool.
It's
Awesome.
a matter of playing around with it, isn't it? Mm.
It is a lot of playing around. So I will definitely I believe Christian has a Christian has a Mac. So I could do one of these for Macs and please let me know if there's anything else. As now that you've kind of got the feel for what these sessions involve, it's really, you know, trial and error sorts of stuff, and we can really kind of all learn together. Now that you've got a feel for it, your head might start picking up little bits and bobs as you go about your business in the next couple of weeks. So jot stuff down or flick it to me in an email. We don't have a set schedule for these. I'll just kind of do one whenever there's enough stuff to fill up about an hour.
Wonderful.
You're amazing. You're truly amazing. Thank
Yes.
you.
Oh, good.
Yes.
Fortunately, I can ask my husband.